to the welterweight division. Once the winner of 8 straight UFC battles, former top contender John Fitch looks to work his way back to the top. His challenge tonight, the man who beat his teammate, Paulo Thiago. Brazilian Paulo Thiago announced his arrival to the UFC in February with a stirring knockout of Josh Koscheck that shocked the MMA world. Tonight, John Fitch looks to get revenge for his teammate by pinning the first loss on Thiago's perfect record.
Paulo's definitely not well known by the fans, but he's for sure a gamer. He's very aggressive, and I've seen what he's done, and he's found his way into the UFC, and that doesn't happen on accident.
John Fitch is a very well-rounded fighter. He's a hard fighter, but I'm prepared to fight him and win him.
Jiu-Jitsu black belt Paulo Thiago has spent much of his career gaining accolades for a ground game that have earned him submissions in 7 of his 11 wins. But it's his stand-up attack that has put the welterweight division on notice that he is a fighter to beware of.
It doesn't matter for me if it's going to be standing up or on the ground. I'm prepared for any situation.
Winner of an amazing 16 of his last 17 fights, John Fitch is undoubtedly one of the best welterweights in the world. But the former Purdue wrestler isn't content with just being a contender. His goal is another shot at the world title, presently held by George St. Pierre.
Since the GSP fight, I've done a lot of work with the strength conditioning coach to become a better athlete. I've also worked extensively on my stand-up, improved on my wrestling and my ground skills. So I'm going to take all these new skills that I've learned and put together and really put it on Paulo tonight.
In his mixed martial arts career, the Brazilian is a member of the Special Forces team back home. As a member of a very elite police force, his main goal is to recover firearms from drug dealers in Brazil. So while this is a very dangerous and competitive sport, Paulo Thiago must think this is kind of a night off, Joe, as he fights inside the octagon against John Fitch tonight, because in the real world, he is a true hero and warrior.
I mean, what you've said, being a cop, any kind of cop in Brazil is tough action. And being a guy who takes guns away from gang members, are you kidding me? Look, the guy's tough as nails. He's an outstanding Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, which we didn't get to see in his knockout victory over Josh Koscheck. But we might see that tonight. Behind him, you see Walid Ismail, a legend of the sport, one of the old school guys. I had the pleasure of seeing him fight the very first UFC I ever worked at UFC 12. So Paulo Thiago, well-schooled, well-versed, already has success in the octagon. He is undefeated, amateur boxing experience. What more could you ask for? Plus, he's got a knockout victory over one of the very best welterweight fighters in the world.
Tough, hungry Brazilian, just 28 years old. He's been in martial arts since age 5 when he started training in judo. He did say that he believes that Fitch is more dangerous with an overall arsenal than what he had in Josh Koscheck. He's set to face Fitch tonight. From Fort Wayne, Indiana, fighting out of San Jose, California, just the 6th black belt in Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu under Dave Camarillo, but the first to start as a white belt, and he did it in about 5 years. 31 years old, former top contender, looking to make his way back towards the top of the UFC's welterweight division, John Fitch.
Last time we saw John Fitch, he won a unanimous decision over the very crafty Akihiro Gono. And, you know, coming off of that fight with George St. Pierre, he fought a guy who's very difficult to look good against in Gono. Gono's very crafty. This fight is going to be a very interesting fight because we're going to find out how much he's improved, what's happened to him since the George St. Pierre loss. Guys like John Fitch is an animal, and guys like him don't like to lose. And he's a very dedicated guy, but I guarantee you, coming off the George St. Pierre loss, he's even more dedicated than he was before. He's going to be better tonight than we've ever seen him before, and he's got a very interesting test tonight against Paulo Thiago.
They've waited all night to do battle. The former Purdue Boilermaker. Now it's a badass fighter, John Fitch. 9-1 in his UFC career. 22-3 overall. Our tale of the tape for this welterweight fight. Fitch the American, 3 years the elder of the Brazilian. Everything else is virtually identical. Once again, here is the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man holds a perfect professional record of 11 wins with no losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Brasilia, Brazil, Paulo Thiago. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 22 wins, 3 losses, and 1 no contest. He stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of San Jose, California, John Fitch. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon is Yves Lavigne.
Yves Lavigne, our referee. The beautiful Logan Ariani.
Are you ready, sir? You ready? Fight!
Black trunks for Fitch, gray trunks for Paulo Thiago. Fitch said he's worked a lot on his strength and conditioning and his striking since the GSP loss.
And also his athleticism. He's worked very hard to become a better athlete. You know, he realizes that just toughness and wrestling is not enough. You have to be able to move like the very best in the world. And I think fighting Georges St. Pierre, he realized that there's a gap. And already he looks better tonight in his striking.
Well, he strikes every day with some of the best in the business, and Mike Swick and
guillotine, arm in guillotine, full guard.
Obviously, Josh Koscheck, his training partner.
He's in a dangerous spot here, Mike.
Loss.
This is very dangerous. Paulo Thiago has an arm in guillotine. It is very tight. He's got full guard. The only thing that's helping John Fitch right now is that he's got butterfly guard, but he doesn't have the legs wrapped around him. If he can get those legs free, he's trying to shrimp his legs out. If he can get those free and wrapped around Fitch, Fitch is going to be in deeper trouble.
It looked like Fitch was out for just a moment there, but then Thiago grabbed right back on the neck.
He's still got the arm in. It looks like Paulo let go of one arm. Okay, now Fitch has got his arms wrapped around Paulo's legs, and he's slowly passing. And Paulo's trying to use the butterfly guard to elevate him. Fitch, very, very difficult guy to choke, by the way. Juan Carneiro had him in a full-on Darce choke and was unable to choke him. And Carneiro is a very famous and well-respected Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt himself. Now Paulo Thiago, it looks like he's letting go of the, no, he's still got the arm in. Oh, he's switching it to a Darce, gator roll.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Paulo Thiago.
But the thing is, he's got to get those legs out. He's got to get his legs out. If he gets his legs out, he's still got a problem in that he's up against the cage. But if he can get his legs out, push his body away from the cage, he's holding on to that position, though. He's not letting it go. He looks very calm. He's been here before. He knows he's got a real good spot here. He's waiting for John Fitch to try to adjust his position. He's got the position, he's got a good spot, he's got a choke on him, and he's waiting for Fitch to try to adjust. As Fitch tries to adjust, he's going to try to choke him. Ideally, what he would like to do is get these legs out and spin away from that octagon so he can get full torque and pressure on the neck of John Fitch. He's got one leg out.
Fitch is out.
He's out.
Fitch remained very patient, Joe, and did not let Paulo Thiago get a better position to finish that choke, and now he's trying to get the mount.
Yeah, Paulo has one leg in between them right now. And very important, Paulo is controlling the posture of John Fitch. Note how he's got his hands clasped together. He's not letting Fitch posture up and slam down shots on him. And Fitch is trying to separate him there, and he does. And Paulo rolls towards a Kimura. This is what we didn't get a chance to see in Paulo's first fight, is his ground skills. Fitch trying to get on his back here. Paulo holding on to that leg. What Paulo Thiago wants to do right now, Mike, is he wants to pull John Fitch's leg away from the cage to try to put John Fitch on his back. In the position that he's at right now, what he's got to be concerned with, John Fitch getting to his back. If John Fitch gets an over-under hold here, kicks his leg out and gets behind him, he might be able to take Paulo Thiago's back. So what we have here is a little bit of a chess match. Now Fitch has switched his hands, and he's trying to get wrist control on Paulo's left arm. Now Paulo's got that leg, and he's pulling it out. Fitch is resisting. And Fitch is trying to lock up a Kimura on Paulo's arm. He's running out of time here, though.
First round in the books.
The outside picture with you, staying on the outside. When you come inside, get in the clinch like you did.
Look at me, look at me. Hands up when you're kicking, all right? Keep mixing it. Keep mixing the high with the low, all right? You're doing an excellent job on that.
John, as you're doing that, keep your movement. It's important to keep your movement.
Open the chest.
And move
Open
to
the chest
right.
up more. Nice
Keep
deep
the
breaths.
movement and move to
Nice
the right.
deep breaths. Very nice.
Everything you're doing, keep that movement with the right. That leg kick is there. He's letting you have it. Keep taking it. Okay?
Keep mixing it up, highs and lows. Excellent.
Boa, respira. Isso, respira. Só você voltar ao normal agora. Volta ao normal. Volta ao normal. Você é o campeão, agora é esse segundo round, hein?
A full night's work for all. Ariane, Logan, this crowd has been outstanding.
Good right hand by Fitch. Takedown by Fitch.
Fitch weathered the early choke attempt by Paulo Thiago, controlled the latter part of round one, and now controls the early part of round two.
Well, it looks like he's in side control, but he's actually not, because Paulo is using his right leg to hook the inside of John Fitch's right leg, and he's controlling him with that. You can see it here. His left leg also is behind the knee, and what that does is it prevents Fitch from passing, and it puts him back into a position where he can attack and defend.
Fitch, the 2002 Purdue Wrestling most dedicated performer, Big Ten Conference Scholar Athlete Award winner, 4-year letter winner, as a wrestler with the Purdue Boilermakers. And you kind of talked about it before. He did it all on heart. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have talent, because he does, Joe. But this is a guy who just outworked everybody throughout his entire collegiate career, and to pretty much an 8-0 start in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Yeah, he's got talent, but he doesn't have like John Bones Jones talent, you know what I mean? Where you just, it's undeniable that he's got a special athletic ability. He's just a really tough, strong guy who works very, very hard.
Dave Camarillo said he has never, ever seen a more dedicated mixed martial artist, and he's trained a ton throughout his career.
Paulo Thiago rolling towards Kimura, but he gives up his back in the process. If Fitch can, yeah, he does look like he's got his hands clasped here. So Fitch is in a good spot here, and he's trying to take the back. But what he's got to be careful here, Paulo Thiago looks like he's trying to roll for a leg lock. As he leans back, if Fitch lets go of those legs.
Go, guys, work.
Yeah, Paulo's leaning back, looking for those feet. And now he's looking to try to pull Fitch's legs out and try to take him down, which is a very difficult task.
Just past the midway point of this fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds.
Fitch props him up, hits him with a knee. He's looking to get another one in there. And a nice takedown, slammed him down. Fitch has his back. Fitch has one hook in, looking to get that second one, that left leg. He wants to get the left leg in between Paulo Thiago's thigh and chest to control the body. And in the meantime, he's controlling his arms. Now he's got the second hook in. But he does not have the right leg hooked anymore. He turns him over, flattens him out.
105 remains in the second round.
Now he can land some big shots from this position. If he can flatten the hips out, he's got to be careful though he doesn't get too high on Paulo Thiago's shoulders, because Paulo Thiago might sneak out the back door. What I mean by sneak out the back door is if Paulo Thiago gets up on his feet and gets high and shakes John Fitch off the front, then he'll be in a better position.
Fitch is really high, Joe, as you've talked about before.
Yeah. Okay, this is better. Rolled over onto his back. He gave up that spot of trying to flatten him out, and now he's working his way down, closer towards the hips, where he's got better control.
Good second round for John Fitch. Good into the first round, too.
Well, John Fitch is definitely dominating position and definitely dominating with takedowns. See here, Fitch is very high right here. It's going to be real hard for him to choke him.
We're going to head to the third and final round. Nicely done with the right.
Straight right hand by Fitch, and immediately he shoots in for double underhooks. He dominated takedowns in that round. He dominated position on the ground.
Respira fundo. Respira fundo. Isso, respira fundo, abre o olho.
Keep mixing it all up just like you have been. Good job.
If you're going to strike, keep your distance moving to the right.
Remember, you got your Muay Thai, too.
He's got no answer on the ground.
And he has no answer in the stand-up if you're moving to your right.
You keep it sharp on the stand-up, though. One more round.
All right, guys, here we go.
Let's go, John.
Third and final round.
Fight!
Fitch and Thiago. Fitch looking to move to 10-1 inside the octagon. Fitch up on the toes, look for a kick. There it is.
Paulo Thiago looking for that uppercut that he stopped Josh Koscheck with.
Fitch gets the takedown again. After a good start for Thiago, Fitch is working his way towards a decision victory here tonight. He sacrificed so much, as he's talked about before, moving 2,000 miles from the state of Indiana to dedicate his life in the sport of mixed martial arts. Arrived in San Jose in 2005, slept on the floor of the gym for the first month because he couldn't afford a bed. Said, I don't go out, I don't party, all I do is work and train. And training is work.
Paul Thiago again goes through that Kimura but gives up his back in the process.
Fitch taking a look up at the big screen to check his position here. 3.5 remains in the fight.
Fitch has shown excellent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in this fight. Really good control of the ground position. Now he's moving over to the mounts. Very nice. Moving over to the mount with a possible arm triangle on the right arm of Paulo Thiago. He's moving towards that, and then Paulo rolls over, gives up his back again.
Under 3 minutes.
You know, if Fitch actually could submit Paulo Thiago, that would be a huge feather in his cap.
Fitch
on his back. Legs crossed, very dangerous. He's got to be careful he doesn't get foot locked. Oh, man.
Fitch got thrown back and slammed, but he holds on to the back in the dominant position.
He's going to get rolled over, though, Mike, and he's going to wind up in his guard.
Fitch from a walk-on Purdue to the team captain by the end of his wrestling career. He's got to be careful again.
Choke.
Thiago.
As long as Fitch holds on to that leg, he's okay. And then here's the other thing is that this is late in the fight, and Paulo Thiago's arms might be pretty tired.
Fitch postures up. Got to watch for those up kicks. Fitch is able to push back down. He's got top position. And he's probably, Joe, a little bit over 90 seconds away from a decision victory here.
Paulo rolling over again, going for a leg, but Fitch shakes it off. Fitch is really showing some excellent grappling in this fight. Landed some good punches here, controlling the wrist of Paulo. Paulo's unable to defend.
Fitch looking to seal the deal, Joe.
Again, he takes the back. He's got both hooks in. Now he goes for the body triangle. And what that's for is to keep Paulo Thiago from being able to turn towards him and winding up in John Fitch's guard. And it also constricts the breathing of your opponent. Squeezes his organs. Now John's got the choke. He's beating him up.
Body triangle.
He's got it across his face. He needs to get it under his chin. Paulo Thiago's defending it well.
He's going to give it up for now, Joe. But he's still got that body lock. 25 seconds left in the fight.
He's trying to work with the other arm now, Mike. Relentless. John Fitch just all over him.
As he works from arm to arm with the choke, he may not finish by submission, but he has dominated the latter part of this fight.
He might get it now.
Final seconds of the fight. It is all over. Judges will render their decision, and it should go in favor of John Fitch.
No question about it. Excellent show of sportsmanship and a great display of grappling and control by John Fitch. And this is the wrestling of John Fitch. You see, look at this, slams him down. Showed some improved striking in his bout as well. Nice straight right hand.
Fitch, Dave Camarillo, Crazy Bob Cook. Fitch has made it 2 in a row by defeating Paulo Thiago and handing Thiago the first loss of his professional mixed martial arts career. And in the process, Fitch avenges Thiago's victory over his teammate and good friend Josh Koscheck. "31 years old. He kept his fighting a secret from his family for 3 years, did John Fitch. No secret anymore. Here's Bruce Buffer with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The scores are 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, John Fitch.
Just as expected, Fitch wins by unanimous decision. He defeats Thiago. Here's Joe.
All right, I'm here with the winner, John Fitch. John, great decision over a crafty and dangerous guy. How hard was it being backstage and waiting to come out, not knowing when you were going to fight, and finding out you were fighting after the main event?
Yeah, it was a challenge. I mean, I got all warmed up, ready to go. I was ready to come out, and they said, you know, GSP and Thiago were going first, and then I thought I was coming up right after them, and then they let Brock and Mir go. So I'm about an hour off of where I thought I was going to fight, so it did affect me a little bit.
Now, you fought a crafty, dangerous guy on the ground. You controlled him with your jiu-jitsu and your wrestling. What was the strategy coming into this fight, knowing the guy was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt with some pretty good striking?
I don't really dictate too much of a strategy as far as I have to do this to win. I come in and just kind of play it by ear. I train myself all around. I'm an all-around fighter. I can stand on my feet, wrestling on the ground. So whatever windows present themselves in the fight, I want to take those.
Well, congratulations over a good victory over a tough guy.
I got to thank Zinkin Entertainment. This was my 10th win here in the Octagon. It's a big feat for me. I couldn't have done it without Zinkin Entertainment. And check me out at Lavo tonight.
John Fitch, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations to John Fitch. The wait was worth it, and he fits that grin on his face like always. The executive producers of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Frank Fertitta III, Lorenzo Fertitta, and UFC President Dana White. Our supervising producer is Craig Borsari. Tonight's show produced by Bruce Connell and directed by Anthony Pasquale Giordano. Alan Connell, our technical producer. Joe Silva, the Vice President of Talent Relations. Our entire crew. We were able to celebrate with you the great history of the sport, the great history that we have seen inside the Octagon. Dan Henderson, a big part of that. A winner by knockout tonight. The Pitbull was thought to be a true threat to the throne of the French Canadian. But in the end, it was 5 rounds, 25 minutes of domination for George Rush St. Pierre. And he defends his welterweight title here tonight in Las Vegas. Successful on 10 takedowns against the Brazilian. And then, in our main event of the evening, with the heavyweight title and a little bit of revenge on the line, Frank Mir and Brock Lesnar faced off here tonight at UFC 100. And the man who has limited experience but unbridled power and talent dominated the former UFC heavyweight champion and truly becomes the undisputed king of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. For Joe Rogan, Mike Goldberg saying so long until next time. We see you right back here inside the Octagon.